good afternoon. Those of you in Malaysia, Southeast Asia, Australia. So welcome to VROC's webinar. We've been doing these webinars quite a lot. I think most people here are getting used to doing webinars and learning, but this is one of the unusual webinars because we've actually got a very interesting guest. The Head of Innovation at PETRONAS, Fadhlan Nik Aziz, is here with us, and he heads up the team at the Innovation Gateway, Innovation Gateway at PETRONAS. Now, this webinar will be 1 hour. Questions will be private. Please feel free to type in questions. You'll see a box on the right-hand side. Type in your questions. We will answer all the questions that we can during the webinar, or we will email you shortly after if we have too many questions. Now, one of the things that we're very grateful to have is Fadlan, because it's very unusual to get a guest from PETRONAS coming to talk publicly about how a big organization looks at innovation and how they move quickly. So we're grateful to him to come out of his busy schedule. He's a very interesting person. He's worked in Switzerland, he's worked with the Sauber team, he's worked in China. He and his team have been very instrumental to VROC in helping us work with PETRONAS. So I'd like everyone to, I'm going to pass it over to Jen to do a bit of Q&A with Fadlan. So the format is we're going to do about 7 or 8 questions and answers with Fadlan. After that, I'll talk a little bit about VROC's experience getting into PETRONAS with the Innovation Gateway at PETRONAS, and then Fadlan will share how to do that, and we'll have a little bit of time left over for Q&A. So the webinar will be exactly 1 hour, so it's 2:35 now. We will last 55 minutes from now. So thank you very much for logging in from wherever you are, and we hope this afternoon will be entertaining for you. Over to you, Jen.
Yes, then. Apologies, everyone. I won't start from scratch. Basically, the ones that you missed is just me saying hello to everyone and saying hello to you, Fadlan, and welcoming everyone to our webinar. Without further ado, I was going to go and start asking you the questions from the hot seat. So the first question that we have is, as the head of innovation in PETRONAS, the desire to make a positive, lasting contribution to the future of PETRONAS is basically in the core of what you do and drive the decisions that you make. Are you able to share with us your interest in innovation and digitalization and how this started for you?
Sure. Hope you can wait for my answer because it's going to be a long one. Well, thank you very much, VROC. Thank you very much, Jen. The journey of innovation started off in my first assignment back in 2002, when I was lucky enough to be appointed as one of the finite element analysis engineer stationed in Hinwil in Switzerland. I was joining the Sauber PETRONAS engineering. We were doing Formula One cars, and my particular responsibility is to do finite element analysis on engine components, the moving components. So from there, I learned firsthand how the Swiss manage the racing team, as well as managing the process of developing new products. At an early entrance into PETRONAS, I was introduced to a culture of working in making new things. That is the crux of the innovation that came to me. So we didn't talk a lot more about digitalization at that particular time. It was back in 2002. We were more on coming up with new things that we can actually put it into the racetrack and also put it into the market as well. So from there, I learned about the culture of innovation. I learned about how people innovate to overcome challenges. By that time, at the first start of my career, I have the innovation culture embedded in me. When we came back to Malaysia, all the young engineers, I was young then, when the young engineers came back to Malaysia, we developed our own NE01 engine family. That is where we unlearn what we've learned in Switzerland and put it on paper. I was then lucky enough to be assigned to People's Republic of China, to 3 major cities, Beijing, Shenyang, and Shanghai. We were there to develop the engine family, the 2.2 liter, the 2 liter turbo, and also 1.8 turbo. During that time, we put in our knowledge in paper and make new engines to be tested in the Chinese market. Then I learned more about innovating in a very tough environment. China in 2009 to 2011 is not like what it is right now. It was a challenging time for me to adapt to the new culture and bringing new innovation to a country that is used to getting innovation on another way, which is not coming from their own way. So I need to learn to change that. I need to re-educate my colleagues in China to change their thinking towards making something new. Then I was promoted again back in Malaysia to be the head of technology commercialization, where I learned to make money out of technology, where I did that for 6 years. Then they developed a new technology crowdsourcing department called Innovation. It's the first time that PETRONAS established a department called Innovation, and I was privileged enough to be part of that journey. So innovation has always been in my blood, starting from my first days of working. And right now I put it on paper and make it happen for PETRONAS.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. So the second question that we have is, PETRONAS is a massive company. Everyone knows that. PETRONAS is ranked among the Fortune Global 500's largest corporation in the world. And, but it's been around for 46 years, as what you were telling us yesterday. So in that, there's a lot of legacy systems, lots of legacy processes that's been embedded. So from your perspective, are you able to share with us how you have built upon your company's legacy or have had to alter strategy because of its legacy, especially elements that have stifled innovation of late?
During my days in commercializing technology, I can sense that deploying and replicating technology has always been a challenge for PETRONAS because of the way that it's being packaged to the users. I work on that, and from there on, I also see that we are lacking of a platform for us to receive new technology from outside into PETRONAS. So that's why we established IGAP, the Innovation Gateway at PETRONAS, to provide that kind of platform. In terms of legacy, I was informed by many of the other operators that PETRONAS has a different view on technology altogether. Be it from the technology provider and also from our competitors out there, the oil and gas operators. They have shared with me that PETRONAS look at technology in a different way. The difference is we are willing to try new things at our assets, and we do it continuously and consistently. That was the differentiator that we bring. So the legacy of PETRONAS of trying new things has always been there. It's just that the challenge is to do it more and do it often.
Right.
That is why innovation has been established. So I'm just banking on a current legacy that is ready to try new things. Right. Then I expand from there.
Fantastic. So in that then, trying new things, doing it more, how would you view failure as it relates to innovation? So when is it part of the process and when is it unacceptable?
During our journey in deploying technology, we first started off back in 2011, taking what's on the prototype table and putting it into our offshore platform. We've been doing it religiously and consistently since then. Obviously, all the while, there are some failures that we've encountered. Our motto has always been, and this is something that I really hold dear to, is to fail fast and recover quickly. We still need to create value from technology. So based on my experience, we have encountered multiple failures along the way. Majority of those, we will quickly fail fast and learn from those errors that we've made so far and improve the technology and try it again. There are some instances during my journey in technology development and commercialization, whereby we find out that for us to recover back and reinvent and redeploy the current technology that we have is just too much. It requires too much resources of manpower and also on finances. So we decided to abandon those projects. However, the learning from those projects, we will carry on to the next cycle of product development. So it is still fail fast and recover quickly. We just change to another technology.
Right. Fantastic. Nicely put. So in terms of measuring, how do you measure the output of innovation in your company? And what does the process of innovation look like in your company? And what are some of the key indicators that you have been successful?
For PETRONAS, we always look into technology as a differentiator, bringing value to the business. So the value creation that we define in PETRONAS are only three. The first one is cash generation. By deploying technology, we can generate new income streams for us. This can be from improved process, an increase in production, and also finding new markets from a new product that we develop. That is the first one, the cash generation. Second one is cost savings. When we spend, let's say, ringgit on a certain activity of cleaning pipelines using a chemical, then we find a solution that is 30% lesser and doing the same function or even better. That is direct cost savings to our operations and our maintenance work. The third one, which is most related to VROC, is cost avoidance. We spend money now on a tool or an equipment that can save us from spending more money in the future. In the case of VROC AI, when we deployed in Dulang, in offshore Kerteh, in a span of 2 years, we have recorded close to 100 million ringgit worth of cost avoidance. So that is money well spent when we can avoid future costs to our operations.
Nice. Thank you for that. So what are the typical challenges that people face when bringing their technologies into PETRONAS? And how have you and your team helped other companies overcome these adoption challenges?
The challenges are many. It's just too long for me to describe. Yeah, bringing new things to anywhere, any other organizations, it is still a challenge. Yeah. When you want to try new things where the deliverables are still unexpected and the control of it is still unknown, and even how you do that also is still vague. So many of our colleagues in PETRONAS tend to go back to their comfort zone and start to question on the benefits of the technology, obviously. It is my task to re-educate and create a new environment whereby we can go through all that without having that much difficulties. So I've done a few things in my career in order to make it easy. One of which is establishing the IGAP, an Innovation Gateway at PETRONAS, and opening up for people to submit, for technology providers to submit new technologies and have it available in an IGAP technology catalog for all of our staff to have a look at. I also make it simpler for them to adopt by enhancing the IGAP to be more like similar to Agoda.com, Booking.com, Lazada, and Shopee, where you can actually purchase the technology online. These are some of the enhancements that is inside IGAP currently. I also make it available for users in all parts of the world, in Turkmenistan, in Iraq, in Sudan, and in offshore Sabah and Sarawak, to give in their feedback, similar to where you were doing the same thing in staying in a hotel by using Booking.com. When you stay at a hotel, and you like it, you give a 5-star and you say, this hotel is great. If otherwise, you will put in 1 star and you say, don't come here again. So similarly, in IGAP, we also have that function whereby the users can give a star rating as well as leave a lessons learned feedback section for the new users to use. For example, if a technology is suitable for 3 bar gauge pressure and 100 degrees C, so the user will put in there that this technology is suitable for that condition. If you go above 100 degrees C, the technology will behave differently and you will not achieve your objective. So for the next person who's going to take up that technology, they can learn from that experience and be mindful on the parameters that is used. So that is one of the ways that I make it simple for technology to be deployed in PETRONAS. However, I know also during this crisis here, this is a fertile ground for innovation and change. And I commend my colleagues for taking up the challenge and trying in new things, especially on the technology inside the IGAP technology catalog.
Fantastic. So it's a very well-known fact that the oil and gas industry is a very traditional industry. So how do you see traditional oil and gas companies respond to innovation, and especially digitalization and AI technologies? So what do you think of the potential of some of these technologies in oil and gas?
Okay, so I've been working for PETRONAS for 17 years. I was having a conversation with my colleague who's been working about 16 years, 1 year lesser than me, last night. And we were talking about, if only this industry that we work in right now would be similar to other industries in terms of pace in accepting new technology. We are far behind compared to other industries, like the energy industries, the telecommunication, the digitalization. All the other industries are very much faster than us by not a mile, but probably 300 miles. Reason being is the way that we indoctrinate ourselves in our industry. If we were to jump into a swimming pool, the oil and gas players inside this industry will probably wait for 50 people to jump into the pool first, have a swim around before we can actually have the courage to put our feet into the water, even though it's nice and warm. It has always been like that. And when I was talking to my colleague last night, I told her that I want to make some changes. We cannot stay like this. We got to be ahead of the other industries as well. So yes, the thinking of the players in this industry is traditional and very much conservative. It's people like myself and also companies like VROC is going to help each other to bring this industry to another level, make ourselves more courageous in trying new things.
I love that analogy. I love that analogy, Fadlan. I hope you haven't trademarked that, because I'd like to use that in the future. So have you, with the IGAP, it's such a fantastic initiative. You've had such an overwhelming positive response to that as well. So are you able to share with us what this is and how it is assisting PETRONAS?
Okay. Back in July 2017, we want to embark ourselves in the world of online technology crowdsourcing. Before that, I didn't even know what this crowdsourcing means. Right now, I think I'm living and breathing that concept. During that time, we wanted to launch a topic that we can get new solutions, a pain point that we've been struggling for the past 10 years. And we would like to find out from the industry players to give us an opportunity to try out new technology to address our own pain point. So we launched the first technology challenge on monetization of associated gas and offshore flare. We got overwhelming response. We got roughly about 30 responses, and we found out the first winner. Then we knew, hey, this is something we can do actually. So we've benchmarked ourselves against other players that have done it for quite a while, like Shell Game Changer, like Equinor Innovate. They've been doing this for a while. But we did some customization because we feel that we need to open up the opportunity to everyone in the world to participate in the PETRONAS Technology Challenge. So unlike the other platforms, they are only specific to the country that they operate in. For example, if the operator is in Spain, they will open to Spanish technology companies only, similar to Norway and also similar to the Netherlands. So PETRONAS want to look at it in a different point of view. We open up to all the countries all across the globe. That's why a company from Australia also can participate in technology marketplace. So IGAP, when we first started IGAP, the most number of submissions at that particular time in my head was 180. I feel at that time there are only 180 companies at most that will be interested to participate and submit their technology in both our technology challenge and also in our technology marketplace. Fast forward to the 12th of August 2020, we are now at 773 submissions, and out of that 773, 222 have been approved and included into our IGAP technology catalog. I would say for this year alone, our technology value creation can reach close to 90 million ringgit just from value creation from all the technology that's been deployed from the IGAP technology catalog by the end of the year. So we've gone so far. I did not expect this to boom as much back in 2017, and I see that it's actually exceeding the expectation that I had before.
Wow, that's amazing. They're very, very impressive metrics, I have to say. And it's I guess it comes down to the power of crowdsourcing, as you said, and really embracing and opening it up to a wider market, isn't it? That's fantastic. Okay, last question from me. So this is quite futuristic. So fast forward to 2030. Someone did tell me that 2030 is not really fast forward, given that it's already 2020, but let's just stick with that for now. Fast forward 2030, what will the oil and gas industry look like in terms of innovation?
I've always had this vision for the past 2 years. I'm going to explain to you my vision of how I can see. Not necessarily 2030, it can be 2023, 2024. But my vision is an engineer who is located in a remote site in PETRONAS will have his or her cell phone with her, and he or she will press a button, and there will be this Iron Man vision going across him or her, and he will call this what do you call that? Something like Jarvis, the AI. Yeah, you call Jarvis. Say, "Morning, Jarvis. I want to know of all my turbine compressors today. Out of that 73 turbine compressors, how many are up and how many are down?" And Jarvis will say, "Out of the 73, 70 are up and running. This is new. There are only 3 that are down." Okay, Jarvis, send 3 robots to these 3 different locations, find out what's wrong, fix it, and come back to me at the end of the day. And Jarvis will say, "Okay, boss." Then we'll just turn off the telephone and have his coffee and do any strategic work where computer cannot do, coming up with new things and developing new products and also addressing the pain points through adaptation of technology. At the end of the day, close to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, he will flick on the phone again and it will come up with this Iron Man vision again. It will say, "Okay, Jarvis, good afternoon. So how are you doing on the 3 turbine compressors?" And Jarvis will say, "We managed to fix 2 out of 3. There's 1 more that we are unable to fix today. We're going to get back to you by tomorrow morning." And say, "Okay, Jarvis, have a great day." And Jarvis will say, "You too, sir." That's how I imagine the oil and gas industry will look like.
That's fantastic. What I would like to see in addition to that is after 5 p.m., Jarvis would then come home and then we can say, "All right, Jarvis, what are we going to have for dinner?" I'd put my money on that. Most definitely. Or all right, Jarvis, time to put the kids to bed. Fantastic. Look, it's it. Fadlan, it's been such a wonderful time, having a chat with you. I feel like I can chat with you forever, but I'm conscious that we do have a limited amount of time together, and I'll need to pass it on to Waris. But from on behalf of the team, we thank you so much for sharing your wonderful and very candid insights with us. As I said, I really, truly enjoyed our chat, and hopefully I get to see you in person in the near future. So I'm just going to say bye for now, and I'm going to hand it over to Juarez.
Thank you very much for that, Jen. And Fadlan, it was great having you as always. Very insightful. It's great to see the international exposure that you've got and the exposure to new technology and the frankness of which you speak about the oil and gas industry. Now, I like your quote about jumping in the swimming pool. If 50 people do that, and I think I'm going to spend about the next 4 or 5 minutes talking about our own experience. We've worked with you and your team at Innovation Gateway at PETRONAS. And it's been a very good experience because for us as a small company navigating into an MNC, to go into the environment of the MNC, understand which department to talk to, has been very challenging. And your team has been very useful to guide us on who to see, what to do, and to go through the processes. Some of the things that we've gained out of the experience with your team is not only being able to market it, but you're also helping get us FaceTime with the key decision makers within PETRONAS. You're finding us users within PETRONAS. And one of the things that we found interesting is that we've also gone through a rigorous assessment by your Technical Readiness Committee. And we're grateful to note that VROC has been awarded TRL 7, which is Technical Readiness Level 7, which, as we understand it for the moment, that's the highest readiness level assessment in PETRONAS, although I think NASA has another TRL 8, which doesn't apply in this case. But it means that we're basically tried, tested, and good to go. So it's been very useful to know where to go within PETRONAS, what regulatory requirements we have to fulfill, what are the things we need to do, how to work, because the VROC software is not just a software. You work with the IT guy, you work with the users. So you guys have been very useful to help us through, and you've made this journey a lot easier. And your team is extremely responsive. And not only that, you've also helped us understand a lot of the TLA or 3-letter abbreviations in PETRONAS there. So I think it's been a great experience. I won't talk too much longer. I'm at 3:02 now. So what I'm going to do now, just to remind us, we've already had our Q&A. Jen's done some Q&A by VROC with Fadlan. I've done my little talk on how it was to work with Fadlan and his team, Hasif, Maliana, Masliza, and the innovation team. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to one of the questions that we always get is, how do you get into PETRONAS? So there are 2 slides that I'm going to upload, which I'm going to pass on to Fadlan, and then I'm going to mute it. After that, we're going to open up the floor to questions and answers, and then we will take a few. We have the rest of the time for Q&A. I think we'll probably have at least about 20 minutes for Q&A. So I'm going to log on and put the first few slides up. Fadlan, please let me know when you want me to put the second slide. I will mute my mic for the moment.
Right. So it's good that somebody was asking about IGAP or Innovation Gateway at PETRONAS. This is a platform that promotes transparency and promotes our own open innovation. It is a platform where technology providers can engage with PETRONAS, and similarly, PETRONAS can also share the pain points to the technology providers. So we have 2 segments in Innovation Gateway at PETRONAS IGAP. We have the first one, which is the Technology Challenge, the top part here. Technology Challenge is a competition whereby we will shoot the business pain point in the form of a competition challenge to the industry across the globe. We make it available for everybody to participate and to ask questions along the challenge duration. The Tech Challenge winner will then have an opportunity to first deploy the technology in our assets in Malaysia or in overseas. We also give a chance for the technology challenge winner to jointly develop and enhance the technology to make it better, faster, cheaper, and more attractive to the market. We also give a chance for the technology challenge winner to replicate that technology across multiple assets and business in PETRONAS upstream, downstream, and gas and new energy. Another portion of the IGAP is the technology marketplace. The technology marketplace is another section of getting new technology in PETRONAS. We have established the IGAP technology catalog, in which this is a collection, a repertoire of all the technology being submitted to PETRONAS. If you have a new product and you feel that this product can bring benefits to PETRONAS in terms of the three sections that I was talking to you about, the cash generation, cost savings, and cost avoidance, please share it to our IGAP platform, get it reviewed, approved, and park it under our IGAP technology catalog. So this is the best platform, the most transparent platform for us to promote the open innovation. We created this to facilitate collaboration between the industry players, the technology providers, and PETRONAS, with the aim to accelerate the pace in the deployment of technology as well as the replication across the business. Let's move on to the next page, Juarez. Now, how do you actually register the technology into IGAP technology catalog, into our technology marketplace? First thing you do is to log in at innovation.petronas.com. Register your company there. It will ask all different details of your company inside there, with the intention for us to contact you if we feel that this technology will bring value to PETRONAS, and if there is an interest for us to deploy and replicate the technology across our business. You can now then submit your technology online through the same platform. Be descriptive on the technology as much as you can, so that the reader can actually understand the technology immediately after reading your submission. Submission can include all other supporting documents, can include a video of several photographs, a brochure, a PowerPoint slide, or any PDF documents. If you have any technical journals that you want to upload that can help us understand the technology, put it into our technology marketplace. Upon submission, the Group Technical Authority in PETRONAS will get a notification saying that there is a new submission for us to deliberate, review, and provide input to the technology provider. We have appointed 31 Group Technical Authorities in PETRONAS. Each of the GTA will have been assigned a skill group for them to be responsible for. For example, there is one engineer, one custodian engineer who is appointed as the GTA for the areas of instrumentation. There is also one for geology. There is also one for process engineering, and also another one for reservoir engineering. In total, we have 31. So once you've submitted, this person will have a look at it, get more information through the send your technology provider a message. You'll get a prompt on your email saying that the Group Technical Authority asked you a question. You will then log on again to innovation.petronas.com, address that question, and submit back to him or her. He or she then we will review again, and probably there are more questions related to the technology. For example, is this technology suitable for offshore? Can I use it? Can it be mobile? Do I need to have a battery pack with this technology? How much water do you need to make this work? How long is the line to support the deployment from one point to another? How can you replicate to similar size platforms offshore? Can we do it in a crude oil tank? Those are the common questions that the Group Technical Authority will ask, and the responses will be recorded on this platform. This is so the next user who is interested to use this technology will get to go through all the conversation online and refer to that whenever they have any questions to put in this particular technology at their location. So after the conversation is being held, this can be at most 30 days of evaluation. Then we will decide whether we will reject the technology and provide the justification to the technology provider, or approve the technology and pack it into our IGAP technology catalog. Once it's in our IGAP technology catalog, the business from across the globe where we are operating will be getting that solution and deploy it at their location. So VROC went through the whole process. They registered back in 2018, have a conversation with the Group Technical Authority, get the assessment done, put it into the IGAP technology catalog, deployed first in Dulang and replicated in Duyong. So as you can see, VROC is a testament of how the technology goes through the whole process and create value to PETRONAS. As I mentioned before, VROC has created close to 100 million ringgit of cost avoidance through value creation to PETRONAS from the deployment of this technology in our offshore platform, Dulang and Duyong. That is it, Waris. That is as simple as I can explain.
Thank you very much for taking your time to attend this webinar. We hope they're useful. Well, what we will do is we weren't able to answer all the questions, but one last bit of feedback. Thanks, Fadlan, for the very informative presentation. And we have about 70% of the people say that this event was very informative so far when we did a poll. So thanks again, Fadlan, for putting a word out on the Innovation Gateway PETRONAS. It's great to see our national oil company do this. We hope it's been useful to all of you. Please stay safe during these trying times, and we will compile all the questions that have been unanswered, and we'll pass them on to Fadlan and his team to answer them later. Take care, guys. Thank you again, Fadlan. Thanks, Jen. Stay safe, everyone. Signing out.